There's a secret in price action that most traders don't know about that can actually lead to some of the most explosive moves in the entire market, exactly like we have here with DFNS. I was able to lock in a $1,312 profit from this trade, so in this video I'm going to recap this trade and explain to you what exactly this secret is and how it leads to such explosive moves. Now before we get into the secret itself, it's very important to know the backstory of a stock in order to potentially trade it. And this morning, DFNS was gapping up about 57% into the market's open, had very strong volume of about 17.72 million shares, and a very low float of about 1.06 million shares. So anytime you have that combination, a strong gap up with strong volume and a very low float, it's automatically going to be a candidate for a potential gap and go. That's why this was on my watch list going into the market open, and that's why we put this here in our Master the Market morning newsletter. Now, all of these gap ups are not automatically going to have a breakout like we had here with DFNS, but the secret that you want to look for in the price action is that there are actually plenty of bearish signals here that are going to attract short sellers. We can actually see at the market open, there were quite a few times where this stock really failed to break out above that $7 level, and actually had pretty strong rejections back down after it attempted to do so. All of these false breakouts and these big sell-offs actually led to a lot of short sellers piling into the stock, thinking that this was the top and that this was going to start fading lower and breaking down from there. But ultimately, when it was able to consolidate, hold above those morning lows, and then start to break back out above those morning highs, that's where the short sellers are now going to be panicking and covering out of their positions, bringing a bunch of demand back into the stock and ultimately pushing the price higher. So the moral of the story is that if there's a stock that in theory should be breaking down, should be starting to sell off, but it's still able to consolidate and remain overall pretty strong above those morning lows, you want to keep the stock on your watch list and be ready to buy in once that breakout happens and once volume comes pouring back into the stock. That's exactly why this trade worked out so well. And if we go over to the Market Master group once again, we can see in the trading chat here that I was posting in real time as I was buying this stock. At 10 this morning, this was my first post here for DFNS. Posted that it was getting some demand in the low sixes and it was going to be a nice dip and rip candidate if it can start reclaiming the opening highs in the VWAP from here. A bit later, after that consolidation period happened for a while, I posted that I grabbed a small position because it closed over the VWAP for the first time since the market did open. Now that entry for this stock was right at about 10:50 in the morning, and we can see that, this did not immediately start to go in my favor. It was still consolidating. I did not time the entry perfectly, but the most important thing here is that I was having a clear trade plan for this stock. I was risking off of these morning lows, and if it did happen to start breaking down under those morning lows from there, I was going to manage my risk for the trade. I was going to stop out and I was going to take a loss. That's exactly why I took the position size that I did, because if I took a full size large position on this stock and then I was risking all the way down here under the morning lows, which was around $1 per share in this case, then I would be taking a relatively large loss on the trade if this were to start breaking down. So I want to make sure that my position size is going to be based off of where my entry is when compared to my risk level. But ultimately and thankfully, this was able to hold those gains pretty well. Consolidated, of course, for a while, started to break out of that consolidation and had this very strong spike up here into a volatility halt. I locked in a portion of my profits here into this halt, held the rest of my shares through the volatility halt, and when that trading resumed from the halt, we had this small gap up and this big push through the $9 level. I sold the rest of my shares and again locked in a $1,312 profit from this trade. And we can see from there, it's actually able to turn that halt level into a bit of support, was able to curl off of it nicely, and has been trending higher ever since. And I do think that a big reason this trade worked out so well and was able to trend higher since that breakout did happen is because there were likely so many short sellers that were trapped due to that morning price action. So anyway, I always recommend that you pay attention to a stock that is holding up well, exactly like DFNS did this morning, because if it should be breaking down and it is consolidating and remaining overall pretty strong, then again, that can lead to some really explosive moves in the market, and that's exactly why this trade worked out so well. So anyway, I hope you found some value in this quick trade recap video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to follow along with my trades, just like with DFNS, I post most of my trades in the Market Master group in real time. You'll also be able to learn all of the strategies that I use in my trading through our day trade bootcamp and get access to our live market scanners to make sure that you never miss out on setups like this. All of that is available for our members at Master the Market. There's going to be a link down below in the description for you to learn more and to get signed up. But anyway, until the next video, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.